The Grapes of Wrath is a triumph. It's a book that, in theory, should have bored me. I don't know why, I just feel like it should have. There's a chapter that lasted for 60-something pages and I still wanted more. It was a deeply profound experience exploring capitalism and different types of laws, which we're gonna get into later. So, what do I think The Grapes of Wrath is about? So we're in Southern California. No, wait, not yet. We're in the Dust Bowl and Tom Jones got out of prison for
homicide.
On his way back to his family, he comes across someone who used to be a priest. I forgot his name, so I'm just gonna call him Priest. Anyway, it's not lost on Tom that his neighborhood used to have people in it. Now it just looks like Arrakis. And Priest explains that basically the banks have forcefully evicted their neighbors. Now they've left the state, not only because of the banks, but because the Dust Bowl has quite literally dried up work. So after spending a night squatting in a house they nearly got caught in, Tom and Priest find the Jodes packing up to leave. Tom's really lucky, man. And maybe the Jodes could find some luck too, since they're leaving for California with all the work the state's been offering, according to these flyers coming out the wazoo. Now, since Tom's back from prison and the priest's there too, they all have a last supper before they leave and they reminisce about good times. The next morning, everyone leaves and the Jode home is left behind forever. It's really sad actually. Somehow the entire family fits on the truck and it's a pretty big family too. You've got Tom's dad, Tom's mom, 2 grandparents, an uncle, 2 brothers, one of whom is married to a pregnant girl named Roussel, 2 little cousins, and a dog. Oh my gosh, a dog! That means this is gonna be a happy story. Nope. It's a long way to California and some really messed up stuff happens along the way. The grandparents die, their expenses drain fast, and so does their food. They even had to replace a part at some point, and some people warned them not to go because the work's all dried up, so reaching the place seems kind of impossible and impractical. But they made it! So many orange groves, so much farmland, that means they'll find some work. Nope. Well, I mean, not right away. There's a massive influx of people looking for work, so the cops have been bringing the hammer down on the homeless and the loiterers. So the Jodes stay at a few places for a while. I don't remember a lot of stuff, so bear with me. They live with a homeless community made of people from out of town until someone gets a cop killed and the pregnant girl's husband abandons her. I think Priest takes the blame for the cop's murder, even though he didn't, so he splits up with the Jodes. Then they live and work in an orange grove until they had to leave for some reason. Then they live in another homeless community, but this time they're sponsored, government sponsored I think. So the quality of life's better there with plenty of work to do as well, until they left for some reason. Then they live and work in some kind of farmland, and this is where the turning point happens. At some point, Tom runs into Priest and finds that he's a part of a protest for labor rights, but the cops rain down on their parade and gets the Priest killed. He gets messed up pretty bad, but Tom kills a cop while he runs away. Nobody might have seen his face, but it's been so badly bruised he can't work at the farm without arousing suspicion. The cops have been looking for him, and staying put isn't really an option, so the Jodes pack up and leave the farmland. They settle down in a rail car somewhere. They don't have work, and they don't have a place to stay, and their food's thinning out. The cops are still looking for Tom, so he's basically taking shelter in a storm drain. From what I think I remember, he also has a passion for fighting for labor rights. So after saying goodbye to his mom in private, he decides to leave his family and fight the good fight. But while Tom lives on, we're only almost done with the rest of the Jodes. So they've been living in that rail car for some time now, and they suffer another death on their hands as Roussel gives birth to a stillborn child. Eventually, a terrible storm comes in and floods the place. It's not really an option to stay there anymore, so they get to higher ground and take shelter in the barn. They encounter a girl and an old man. The old man nearly starves to death, but under the shelter of the barn, Roussel breastfeeds him and smiles mysteriously. And that's what I think The Grapes of Wrath is about. So as I was typing up the end of the story, I started tearing up. This is a very powerful book. It's full of sorrow and unfairness and injustice, but there's this strange undercurrent of hope throughout the whole thing. I think that's something most people pick up, no matter how pessimistic or nihilistic they can be. Something will always make them keep going. I say most because when you go through as much as the Jodes have, and everyone like them, it can be really tempting to forget about hope instead. But if you're anything like the Jodes, somehow it sticks around very stubbornly. I don't think hope by itself is what pulled them through their struggles. I think faith played a large part of that. I don't remember Casey, that was his name. I don't remember him much personality-wise, but with such a big family to support on the road, I think they wanted him around not just because they're amazing people, but because they needed his sermons and his preaching, and it kept them going through hardship. All of this is sort of foreshadowed with the turtle. I didn't realize this on my own, but it made me think about the turtle chapter from a writing standpoint. So if you don't know already, the book is filled with vignettes in between the story that explore the outer world of the book. They're very meditative and very ominous, but I really like the idea that the turtle represents the Jodes and other migrant families. Looking at it as a writer, I think it helps prime readers to expect surprises and the turmoil the Jodes are about to face beyond the function of simple foreshadowing. If it were more straightforward, it wouldn't be very effective because it needs to be understood that what happens to the Jodes happens to everyone else before the story kicks into gear. The turtle is the perfect analogy here because it travels long distances and it carries its own home and it faces random bouts of inconvenience and violence. It even nearly dies at some point. And also it goes in the same direction as other migrant families looking for work. I might be overthinking this, but thematic foreshadowing like this allows readers to subconsciously transfer the symbolism and emotion onto the Jodes, which enhances emotions and it makes the story feel more structured without letting you know either, so the book somehow doesn't feel like a random mess of pain and misery. If there's a simpler way to put this, it's foreshadowing without giving anything away. I get that what I'm saying is obvious, but you'd be surprised with how many stories give themselves away when they feel obligated to include foreshadowing just to have the story avoid feeling random and out of the blue. And those are my thoughts on the Grades of Wrath. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please subscribe and please watch my other channels where I goof off as well. Thanks!